Hi, my name is David, and I'm going to walk you through how I solved the CSWA practice problem 7.1. So I'm going to start by making this profile here, and before we're even doing that, just for reference, I'm going to make a center line that goes all the way up to the top. The nice thing about this center line is that it'll help provide a way to dimension these ones that span across from side to side. If we have that center line there, we'll be able to do that instead of having to cut each one of these in half. Okay, so the center line will go all the way up to the top. Then I'm going to start making this shape with lines. And then there's an arc that goes right here, and then a little bulge that comes out here. And then I'm going to save these arcs for later, so I'm going to stop and then make this part, and then enter the 3-point arc tool to make this arc, and then this other arc here. So then we'll revolve that about this center line, and then for these parts right here, for these little cutaways, we'll just draw this shape and do a through all cut to get the cuts here, and then do a circular pattern to get the other 2 cuts, or rather 4 cuts, I guess, depending on your point of view. All right, let's get started. So it actually doesn't really matter which plane we start from, so I'm just going to go ahead and start from the front plane. Switch to center line mode, go up. I'll dimension everything in just a little bit. And then enter line mode, go somewhere like right around here, over, up, over, down, and then go out and then back to enter the arc sort of mode. I don't want this locking into anything here. And then go out, out and back, create an arc, and then we'll go ahead and stop it right there. Okay, so then on the bottom, enter line mode, go out a ways, out and back. Whoops, didn't quite take. So we'll go out and back again, and then in, not too far. And then we will do a 3-point arc. 1, 2, and then it looks like 3, something like that. Oops, I hit escape, so I exited the 3-point arc mode. Okay, there we go. So it looks roughly like what we want. Now, one thing is I'm going to go ahead and do a tangent sweep here. So this has got a tangent. These are tangented fine, if that's even a word. But this needs to be tangent going on here. So I'm going to click on that point that connects those 2 arcs and make them tangent. And the rest of the tangencies are already covered. So that looks good. Now we can start. Oops. Now we can start dimensioning. I'll just start dimensioning from the top. So this distance right here, going all the way across, is 12. And then we've got this angle of 10. Let's just start going around and smart dimensioning everything. All right. So here we go. Oops. To make sure to make use of the center line, I'm going to use this point to the center line. And if I stay on this side of the center line, I only get half the distance that I want, but if I move the mouse over to the other side, I can enter in the diameter of 12. Oh, one thing I do need to do also is the vertical height, so that's 46. Then this angle between these 2 is going to be 10 degrees. Just move that up. All right, and then what else do we have? Oh, from the top here to here, looks like it's 8. And one thing is that this line is not really latching onto the top, so we need to make sure that this point and this line are coincident. So added a little coincident relation there. Let's see, this is definitely horizontal, this is vertical, so that's looking good. There's a distance from here to the center of that arc, which is 2, looks. And then the radius of this arc is 6. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then we'll just keep going around. We're going to keep going around this picture, and then we'll enter in all these dimensions in just a moment. Okay, so what else do we have? One thing that's not mentioned is this arc right here, but I'm going to assume that it's the same dimension, same radius as this arc down here, which they give us as 1.5. Let's take a look at that over here. So they give us this dimension, it's 1.5, but they don't give us this one, but it looks like it's about the same, so I'm going to make that assumption. And then here we have a radius of 15, and here we have a radius of 15 as well. Okay, so that pretty much covers all of the dimensions over here, as far as I can tell. So let's go ahead and enter these dimensions in. So the first one is from the center going out and then all the way across. That would be 22. So that's good. And then we also have the distance from here across is 16. Go ahead and move this. Okay, and then looking down, we have from the outer part of this arc to the center, and then all the way across is going to be, 26, it looks like. Now if I just click on this point, I'm not quite getting what I want, right? If I just click on this arc, I'm not getting what I want. It's going from the center of the arc to the center line. So what I have to do instead is go from the center line and then shift click on the arc. And then that's getting the distance from the center line to the arc, but then if I move the mouse over to the other side of the center line, I'm getting the full distance across. And we want that full distance to be 26. Okay, another one is from the center of this arc going all the way across. Oops, didn't quite select it. Going all the way across, looks like it is 28. And then it looks like there's one more, which is from here to the center is 21. We'll squeeze that in there. Okay, so mostly defined. There's just a little bit of blue spots around here. So let's try to figure out what's going on. Well, for one thing, the center of this arc needs to be along this line right here. Let's make that happen. Oops, so the center of this arc needs to be coincident to that line. Okay, and then there's one more thing, which is these 2 points right here, right here and here, or in this picture, like here and here. It looks like they're probably vertical to each other, and that's an assumption that I had to make because I couldn't see that in this picture. Nothing that required that to happen. But they look pretty vertical, so and it looks like we're getting some kind of motion that makes them not vertical. So let's go ahead and make that relation. So we're going to make everything vertical, those 2 points vertical, and now we're fully defined. So looking good. All right, so now what we can do is revolve that. Now because I used a center line right here, it's saying that this sketch is currently open. A non-thin revolution feature requires a close sketch. Do you want to close the sketch automatically? Yes. So basically it's going to close this sketch off right here and then do the revolve. Hit enter, and there we go. Okay, so now we have to make those cutaways up on the top. So let's take front plane, for example, make a sketch, And we'll want to make the cutaway, it's going to have to be symmetric about the line going up from the origin. So I'm going to make a center line going from the origin up to the midpoint of the top. So just a vertical line. And if we look here, we're going to be focusing on this part. So we basically just need to make a little cutout here that's symmetric about that line that we just drew. That's this little part right here. Okay, so let's enter the line tool. We'll go ahead and create roughly that shape. Now we do need it to be symmetric, so one way we can do that is by clicking on these lines here, this one, and then shift click on this line and then the center line as well. And then we can make them symmetric. So that's good. Let's dimension everything. Looks like the horizontal distance is 5. The vertical distance from top to bottom is 4. And then the angle between is 24. So that is fully defined. Now we can do a cut, and we want it in both directions. So if it's not already set to through all both, you want to do that. Hit enter. So there we go. Now, one thing that we'll want to do now is take that cut and do a circular pattern. So we want to do a circular pattern around this main axis right here. We want 3 of them. We want the original one and then 2 more kinds of cuts. And the feature that we want is this guy here, the cut extrude. Now, to select the axis kind of disappeared on us, but what we can do is go over to here, the hide show items, click on that little pull down, and click view temporary axes. And you see how it shows the axis of the revolve that we did. So we can click on that axis, and now it's going to do the circular pattern about that axis. We've got 3 of these, and it looks like they're being cut in the right places, so we can hit enter. And there we go. I'll go ahead and hide that again. Okay, well, let's check the mass. It looks like we got 17327 if we round. 17327 cubic millimeters. Great. Well, I hope this video was helpful. If you're looking for something slightly more professional, take a look at the YouTube channel called Design with Roozbe, and take care. Keep studying.